Yo, guys, welcome back in today. Today we're going to be talking about love. I think that love is defined differently by different people. Some people have a love for money. Some people have a love for their children. Some people have a love for the human mind, right? Some people have a love for different things, right? And the definition of how or what love is, I think, would probably differ between a certain amount of people. But the feeling of love, I think, is, or when you love something, is very similar, if not the same, for majority of human beings, right? So to me, I think that love is when a person is willing to go through whatever extremes or trials and tribulations for something that they love, right? So you could love another person, you could love a car, you could love video games, you can love history, you can love a book. And how much are you willing to give of yourself or your services of yourself to obtain that thing that you love and or keep that thing that you love, right? So to me, love is a very, very deep thing. I think a lot of people throw around the word love too much when they really just like something. They're not willing to, they don't have the utmost affection for it. They don't want it that bad. And to me, my personal feeling, love is, or the definition of love to me is when, from you to somebody else, is when you want something so bad, you will go through lengths or trials and tribulations that you usually wouldn't go through with other things. That's what love is to me, and especially deep love. You know, like deep love is when for something or someone, you will go through things that most human beings would not go through, right? Because you care about it more. Love to me is more so about how much do you care about something? How much affection do you have for something? That's what love is for me. So I think a lot of times people, like I said, a lot of times people say they love something, but they really just like something. Because if you love something, I think that you would go through whatever lengths to obtain that or to keep that. And of course, there's always cutoff, right? There's like a cutoff period. If something is always fleeing from you and you're wasting too much money to get it, or you're wasting too much time to get it, you can still love it, but maybe you have to love it from a further away distance, right? You can't obtain it. Like, I love the sun, but I don't know if I'll ever get to the sun. I don't know if I'll ever be able to touch the sun, even get close to the sun, but I appreciate the sun. I appreciate what the sun does for the earth and for human beings, and for, you know, it gives us warmth, it gives us sunlight, right? It gives us energy, the things that we eat, right? Me, especially me being a vegan, gives plants their food, or partially their food, right? Photosynthesis, right? They get light from the sun, and then these plants can grow, things can grow. If I'm correct, heat or light, I can't really remember exactly which one, but heat or light, maybe both, they stimulate things, right? So like, if I'm correct, that's what stimulates, the light stimulates the growth of skin on a human. And I could be wrong about that one, but I'm pretty sure I read something like that, or seen it in a documentary where light stimulates, or it actually speeds up the process of your body going skin to protect itself, or something of that nature. But I love the sun, right? Because I love the sun. I when it's not around, I yearn for it. I want it. Right now it's wintertime, and I'm wishing, like, yo, where's the sun at? Where's warm at? Like, those are the things that I love, because I have such a strong affinity for them. I have a big affection for them, that every time they're gone, I miss them so much that I have to talk about them, or I wish and I think about every day when they're coming back. To me, that's what I think what love is. I think when you have family, there's some family members that don't get along, or there's some mean people in the family. But if you love somebody, it doesn't always mean you get along with somebody, but you love someone. And that's what I think it comes down to. It's like, there's some people that say they love somebody, but me personally, I feel like if you really love another human being, even at their worst of their worst times, or their faults, to their good times, to their best of who they are as a human being, you'll stick with them, right? As long as they're not like truly, you know, killing you or physically hurting you to where you have to stay away from them. But, or even if you have to stay away from them, you can still have love for them, right? But I think that a lot of people, especially in 2020, love is a dying thing, especially in America. Like, the love for a person, when you say you have love for something, it shouldn't necessarily be about what that thing has attached to it, right? So if you say that you have a love for a tree, yeah, I love when trees are beautiful, and when they have leaves, and when they grow fruit, and when they have plants, I mean, you know, or other vegetation growing off of them, I love them. But I also love trees in the wintertime too. Right now, yeah, they're bare, they're just wood, but think about a world with no trees. Think about a world that if there was no trees, even if there's no fruits bearing right now, or there's no leaves, I still love trees because I know what they do, what they can do, how beautiful they can be. Right now, they might not be the most beautiful right now because it's wintertime and they're bare. And like I said, there's no fruit, or there's no plants, or there's no leaves coming off of them. But I know what they can do and who they can be. And that's why I love trees. Just like I love the sun. I can't see it right now, but I know it's there, and I know it's going to come back for me. So I feel like with a human being, whether it's your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or, you know, brothers and sisters, I'm not saying that you can always work out ideologies, because ideologies is different from love. Me personally, I feel like you can still love somebody, they can have different ideologies. And I think that's another thing that's a big thing about love too, from human to human, is that people think that you can't love somebody if they think differently from you. A lot of people, especially nowadays, I hear it all the time, oh, this person doesn't agree with me, they don't agree with me on anything, or they have a different opinion about everything. And I'm just like, yeah, we're human beings. It's okay to have different opinions. I'm not saying they're always right, or you deem them right or ethically right. Just like somebody else might not deem what you think is right and your ideologies as being right, or your ethics as being right? But it's okay for people to think differently. I think the main thing with love is to communicate, and, you know, that's another video, communication. But love goes beyond ideologies and how you think about things, right? Love is, man, I have such a big affinity to this person or this thing that regardless of how much it gives me problems, or maybe every day is not perfect, which that's life, right? Like life, every day is not going to be perfect. There's going to be times where you disagree and you agree, but you still can see the good in that person, and you still want to be around that person and love that person and see the best in that person and their qualities. And you know, you guys know I'm a big car guy, and there's a lot of cars where some people, there's different car brands, and some people are like, why do you mess with this brand? Even I say it sometimes too, right? Like, I won't drive most European cars because, well, for one, I'm not into European cars like that, even though I respect them. I'm more into Japanese cars. I'm a Japanese guy, but also because of the reliability. Most Japanese cars are just pound for pound, really the most reliable cars in the world, but pound for pound, as a whole, Japanese cars are more reliable than most European cars, right? But there's some people that will drive Audis, they will drive Benzes and BMWs, even knowing that some models are not reliable at all, or less reliable, right? Ferraris and things of this nature. But because they love it so much, they have this innate love for it, they have this huge affinity for this car and this brand, and the ethos behind the brand and what it stands for and what it means to them, and the beauty of the cars and the engineering and the handling and the power, that they will go through the highest lengths, spend the most money to keep this car, because that's what they love, right? Just like I love Japanese cars, there's some Japanese cars that I've gotten recently that might be a higher maintenance than other Japanese cars, because maybe they don't make it in my country no more, or maybe because it's an older car and the time's moving along and parts are getting harder and harder to find. And then if you can't find them, then you have to customize these parts, which is just as much as finding an older part, if not more sometimes. So all I'm trying to say is that because I love this so much, I stick with it. Regardless of how much money it's going to take me, I'm probably going to stick with it. Just like if somebody loves a Ferrari, they're probably going to stick with it. So love for things or another human being, because we all love something, right? We don't want to get into the physical world, but we do live in a physical world, so we can't always live in the spiritual world. Sometimes people, they get so spiritual, they're like, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm not in a physical body. It's like, yo, you still are in a physical body right now. Yes, you are spiritual, but you're also in a physical body, and we know that there are physical things that we need to survive as human beings. We need happiness and joy, and usually that gets translated to a physical thing, whether it's another person or an object or another creature, right? People love cats, people love animals because they give them love, they give them companionship, they have a high affection, a high affinity to that thing. So let's be real here, guys. You know, love comes in many forms. It's not just another creature. It could be a object, right? Some people love a soccer ball because they love soccer or football. Some people love cars. I love cars, right? Some people love other human beings. I love other human beings. So I think with love, it's a strong affinity to something or someone, so much so that you would go outside of what your norm is as far as giving up yourself or giving up your time or giving up your resources to keep that thing or that person. It's unfortunate that a lot of people nowadays, they think that love is what somebody can do for you as far as human to human, but love is more so to me about how you can make me grow as a human being. Can I look back 20 years from now and be like, wow, I had an anger problem and you helped me get through my anger problem, right? Or I maybe didn't see the world through a woman's eyes because I'm a man, but maybe you can help me see the world a little bit better through a woman's eyes, more than just a man's eyes, and vice versa. Maybe a man can show a woman how to see through a man's eyes because they don't see it that way, and they can learn to grow together. To me, that's what love is. If somebody's willing to stick with me through my worst days, which I don't have a lot, but through my worst days, and then through my good days, it's like, to me personally, that means that you have a strong affinity to me. That means that you love me so much that you will go through the worst times and you'll go through the good times. And to me, that's the definition of love. Love, like I said, is when you're so strongly attracted to something that you will not give it up, regardless of how good or how bad that is. That is what love is. When a human being is attracted to something so much that even if it drags them through the mud, or if you're on the moon, you're going to stay with that person or that object. And I think that's what love is, right? Love is not a physical thing, but I think love can be translated into physical things. I guess what I'm trying to say is when two things are so highly attracted to each other, or one thing's attracted to another thing, or another thing's attracted to another thing, and they will go through whatever it takes to stay around that thing. That's what love is. Love is not necessarily what something can do for you, what somebody can do for you. That could be a form of love, but love to me is when that person or that thing wants to be around that person or that thing through normal standards, right? Like, it doesn't matter how hard it is, or if it gets harder, they're going to be there, or they're going to stay around you. And that's what love is to me, yo. Love is not money, right? And I think a lot of people are getting it confused nowadays that love is money. Love is not money. Because last time I checked, poor people are getting divorced, and rich millionaires and billionaires are getting divorced too. So that should let you know that connection and love has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with houses. It has nothing to do with what type of car you drive. It has to do with a connection and an affinity to love someone so much that you will stay around them. So yo guys, that's my definition of love, and that's what I think about love. So until next time, please guys, love each other. Always learn from each other. Please like and subscribe to all my social medias, which is Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, and Facebook, all Afric Network. Yo guys, each one teach one, and love each other, and always learn about each other. And yo guys, until next time, love all you guys. Peace, one love.
What's up, what's up?
Hey!
Shalom.
What up?
Hi.
Cause I know your ex tryna get closer, enemies tryna get closer. That's the reason why my heart got colder. But when I see him in the streets, I'm composed and I tell him, say, waiting there, oh, waiting there.